Right. So, for everyone that's watching, today we're going to be continuing the waving interviews, and we're going to be interviewing Kindred Waves. And we have Liquid with us, we have Volt, Pez, and Ease. He's awesome. Yeah, and I want to say that each of these members, they each have their own how do I say? Like they individually they're dope. They're all dope individually and they're how they express waves. And then coming together, they're a powerful force. I've saw them at I believe at Waves Within. I don't know if I actually saw you in person because I know I was at Waves Within. I'm not sure if I saw you, but I know I saw the videos and I heard of you guys after, um, and just how high level you are, how you are pushing the style of waving uh, outside of the USA, and I've heard, I believe when I interviewed Alex, or there was someone I interviewed, I know Liquid, your name came up about Liquid, correct? You have a background in Liquid? Yes.
Yes,
So that was
delicious.
Yeah, so that was something I believe when I was interviewing some of the liquid dancers they were sharing. So I'm excited to hear the story of how everyone, I guess the first I would like to, if everyone could kind of introduce themselves, you want to share a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into how did you all meet together. So whoever would like to share first of who you are and yeah, we'll go with, I'll pick somebody. We'll go with
Yeah, please pick someone.
Yeah, Volt. If you could share a little bit of who you are, how
Yes. Hey, what's up? So thanks first of all for inviting us, for caring about our opinion. It really means a lot. Yeah, the name's Volt. I've been in the scene for 17 years now, almost going 18 this year. And I started off with hip hop and just getting into the scene with yeah, through friends that I met, basically just kids hanging around. And yeah, around some corners, I found my way into poppin', which I then really pulled through. I'm the organizer of the Poppers Weekend, which we've been doing for almost 10 years now. And yeah, over time, like I really dove deep into pop in all the Boogaloo styles animation, which also includes waving, of course. But yeah, my real focus on waving going 100% went with Kittridge Waves when we yeah decided to really push the game as hard as possible. I mean, I've been waving for like 9 or 10 years,
Mm,
but really putting the focus on there since 23, 22-ish. Yeah.
23, 22. Okay. And where are you originally from? Where would you say you are from?
Um,
Representing.
I mean, I'm representing Germany. Basically, North Rhine-Westphalia is one of the places where a lot of very, very strong hip hop dancers have been coming from, especially in the context of Just Debut, for example. There has been a lot of people that have been pushing the culture here. Names such as Majid, for example, from the hip hop side, or UK is a name that rings the bell, especially in these contexts. And there's so many very talented people coming from here. And yeah, this is the scene I grew up in, basically. And there's not too much poppin' going on in comparison to America, of course. Like the style is kind of hard to learn. Um, in comparison, comparably, I would say. So there's not as many people doing it here. There were more, like I'd say 10 years ago, like more active people. But then again, like we're changing that with waving right now. So there's a big community growing with Tie Together, Diving Deep, and generally all the projects that we're trying to accomplish with Kittredge Waves.
Nice. Okay, I'm excited. I'm gonna be writing down questions as we're talking on the side. So if I look to the right, it's because I'm writing down notes. I want to come back to it. Okay. And Ease, if we can transition to you. Ease, a little bit about yourself? How did you get into waves? And yeah.
Also, from my side, thank you for the invitation. I guess all of us are going to say it at least one time. Um, I want to say though that we are missing a few of us, right? So Kittridge is a little bit more than just us four. So we're missing Denise from Canary Islands. We're missing Dodo from Italy
Hmm.
and
Wow.
Jackie from Austria.
Oh, wow.
So maybe we can answer some questions in their name as well, or shout outing their projects and stuff. But for now, we here representing the crew.
Yes, yes. Okay, nice. And are you also located in Germany?
I'm also from Germany, almost the same area as Volt, just an hour by car. So we're doing a lot of stuff together, organizing a lot of things together. So we doing Tie Together, for example, which is the collective. This is like in our side of Germany, active and representing. But answering to your question, right? So I'm dancing 16 years now, and started off with the hip hop, so a little bit different in the background.
Okay. Hip hop background, Volt, it was popping background.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, okay.
And I somehow like transitioned to waving 7 to 8 years ago.
7 to 8 years. Okay.
I'm still doing the hip hop, but mainly focusing on waving now and building, enjoying the scene nowadays.
Okay. Nice, nice. Awesome. So this is cool. We have popping background, hip hop background, but everyone is waving coming together. That's what ties everyone together, it seems.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we've done more dance styles than we mentioned, all of us, but going deep for me is hip hop and waving only.
Hip hop and waving. Interesting. Okay, cool, cool. And if we can go to Pez, if you can share a little bit about your background and yeah.
Thank you so much. Also, like my colleagues are saying,
Yeah.
um, I'm originally from Spain, but I'm based in Berlin. So right now I'm also representing Germany.
Okay.
Um, I started like 22 years ago
Hmm.
with just Broadway and with hip hop. But in back in the days, the teacher that we had doing hip hop, he was all the time traveling to France, and the information that he was bringing to us, it was pure funk. So I was doing locking and popping
Okay.
and a lot of animation.
Hmm.
So I already started with pure funk and with the tools coming from the popping.
Hmm.
Um, and then I was just changing from hip hop to house, but I was continuing doing all the time popping and locking. I was in love with funk, and
Okay.
I think he did an amazing job bringing the love to
Okay.
it. So I don't know. I remember doing waves, not pure waving, because back in the days we were mixing popping and animation and waving, but doing waves, I don't know. When I was 15, 16 years old, I
Hmm.
was already doing.
You already were right, right. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Got it. So already a funk
but now,
background. Okay. Continue. Continue.
no, no,
I was gonna say, so
tell
again,
me.
you had a funk background, popping background, studio. And you said your teacher was going to France to get the information,
Yes.
teaching it. Okay.
He was taking classes with Junior Almeida, and he was also doing jazz rock
Hmm.
with few other dancers. So we were doing a lot of mime
Hmm.
because of Junior also, and part of the Marcel Marceau uh, legacy, let's say.
Who is Junior? You're saying Junior.
Junior Almeida is one of the OGs here in Europe,
Okay.
and he is one of the main names for the whole popping and locking
In
uh,
Europe.
Europe. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Really? Okay.
For me, I would say Junior Almeida and Damon Frost, probably they are like the main names for the popping. The
Okay.
only thing is like Junior was also, I mean, correct me, I don't know, Liquid, if you know, but as far as I know, Junior was also doing for sure locking and jazz rock and he has other backgrounds or other styles.
Okay.
So
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, got it. It's cool. It's cool to know also names that I haven't heard about and their influence um over
Oh
there.
yes.
Nice. Okay. And then if we could transition to Liquid again, what is your background and how did you get into waves?
Hello, thank you for the invitation again. And yeah, for me, I think my first wave was like in 2006 or 2007.
Hmm.
It was with the You Got Served movie, the
Okay.
tutorial.
Yes.
And but I was not dancing at that time. And I really start be introduced to dance and to, let's say, pop culture in 2011
Hmm.
with a dance association at my school.
Hmm.
And then from then, I start to take a lot of classes. So in terms of waving, it was mainly at first the one who helped me the most was Damon Frost and Boogie Frantic when they
Hmm.
came in Paris.
Hmm.
So yeah, I was mainly focused first on waving and then also after a little bit of robot animation and after liquid.
And then
And so yeah. And after I start to because in Paris it was a lot of popping center, so a lot of popping events. So I try to do them, but popping was not for me. So I was still doing waving and try to only do that waving animation liquid and yeah. And I start now since a few years to also give class in waving. So yeah, basically that's my story in a short.
nice. Okay. A question, Liquid, I have is how did you hear about Liquid?
Liquid, I think I'm not sure, but I think it was back in the day, so around maybe 2011, 2012, when I started to be introduced to popping, hip hop, etc. In What's Popping Facebook page, you
Yes.
have a lot of conversation, and I think it was just one conversation. We were showing the LPC Liquid Pop Eric LPC Eric videos. So that's the first video of Liquid I saw,
Okay.
and then I discover like LPC with YouTube, so their tutorials. And after I find a lot of tutorials on YouTube and I start to research and yeah, that's how I was.
Nice.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. With this then brings me to the question I like to ask everyone is when did you know waving was going to be the style you wanted to push? Because it sounds like everyone has a popping background, hip hop background. Uh, what was the moment that you said, I want to focus on waving specifically? And if we can go back to vault, what was the moment that you decided I'm going to train in waving?
So, there was several instances, I would say. So to me, it was like not a one time on and off thing. I got inspired by several people along the way. So the first time I really experienced waving as a separate style that you could do outside of pop-in boogaloo styles or whatever was when I met Kali for the first time. That was years ago, because she moved over from Greece to Bochum, which is a city 1 hour, 1.5 hours away from ours, and we met at a battle. And I really, I mean, we all know how dope Kali is with the waves. Like I saw it at a battle, and I just approached her and asked her if there was a possibility that we could train together at one time. And yeah, we connected, we get along very, very well, and then we trained together for a long time, kind of exchanging on popping and waving. And she was basically the first person that really showed me, okay, so this is something that you can do separately, and that there's a lot of information and beauty in this style as a separate thing existing. And then over time, like Kali had to kind of move back and forth because she had like many jobs. So the information of what I got from her was more from getting inspired type of perspective. And then I met Enox. I
Oh.
don't even know how long ago that was. That was maybe 2014, 15. I'm not too sure, at a battle. And he used to go really hard with popping and animation at that time already. And by the time I think he passed Summer Dance for the first time in 2015-ish, I think. Um, like he was already like very deep into waving, and I really got inspired more on the technical page of things. How does it work? How do I recreate the illusion, especially as effective as he is with it? And yeah, we're still super close friends today. So this is an influence, same as Kali, that lasted for a long while. It's still going on until today. The next person was Alex, because over Kali I got to meet Alex. So these three are basically my starting points in waving, which I think is super interesting. I never had this point where I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get to know an OG of the waving style, but it feels like I'm super inspired by the next generation of wavers,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, which is a very interesting experience because I got to know Jay Smooth later in the game. I got to know him through Enox, and then 2023 I booked him for a workshop, which actually also kicked off Tied Together. So I brought him over, and we were sitting in our living room, and he just talked to Isamin. He was like, "Yo, guys, there's not a lot of people who are pushing waving individually in Germany right now. Of course, there's people such as Robo Z who are really representing the style hard, but Robo is busy with a lot of projects. So he was like, "Yo, guys, I think there's a lot of power there, and you should go for it." And this is when Issa and me, we looked at each other, and we were like, yeah, maybe we should really do that. And then he went, "Oh, look, guys, in when was it? August, September of 23, I'm gonna organize an event, and it's called Waves Within. You should try to come. It's in Los Angeles. It's gonna be super dope. And then first I was like, okay, I'm super interested, but then the whole logistics behind it, super crazy. It's a lot of, financial investment that you have to do if you want to travel that far out of your own pocket, not knowing too many people. I was like, yeah, we'll see. And then 1 month later, he's hit me up. He's like, yo, what's up? You gonna book that flight, or because I'm already ready? I already have a group of people. I know there's this girl from Berlin. Her name is Paz. I was like, yeah, I know Paz. I met her at Red Bull Dance Your Style. And I think Lickett also wants to go. And I knew Lickett from Poppers Weekend because he's been supporting the event since forever. So this is like how the three of us got together in one Airbnb in Kittridge streets in Los Angeles, which is, the experience of going to Waves Within brought us together so hard. We vibed so hard. It was like spot on, like it was meant to be. And so we just took the street name that we were staying at, and then we just called ourselves Kittredge Waves.
Wait, so the Kidrid is the street that you were staying at
Yes, in North Hollywood.
in North Hollywood, out here in LA?
Yeah, yeah,
So that's when the name, okay, Kidrid Waves. And then you kept it. You just kept, okay.
yeah. We went with it.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Cool. Oh, yeah, Pez, yes.
Just it was also because all the dancers there in LA, when they were talking about us, they were saying, yeah, the Kid Rich guys. Because we had one of the biggest Airbnb, because we were more people sharing the apartment than others, that they were maybe just sharing just two people an apartment. So sometimes we were training or we were doing sessions in our Airbnb.
Okay.
So everybody was like, ah, yes, let's go to the Kittridge, guys. Let's go to the Kittridge. So that's why.
That's funny. Did you compete in Waves Within the same time that you went to LA for the first time?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
got it. And then
Liquid won, and it was in the final.
got it. Okay, that is funny that how the name came about. Kittridge because of the street. Okay. Um, Going to ease because we're transitioning. Um, how did you ease? What was the moment that you decided, okay, I'm gonna focus on waves?
Well, I tried to figure out that riddle for a while now because I don't have like this exact moment, but I think I have a couple of moments who in total bring me here, right? So I think the first and maybe the most influential is so my mom is a dancer as well, right? And she did a lot of belly dance, fusion belly dance, and oriental dance back in the days. So at least when I was a kid, I was super familiar with the movement of someone moving wavy. Let's just put it this way, right? So it just felt good when I rediscovered this movement again, right? And also from my early childhood, like my dad was producing music, and it was mainly hip hop music. That's maybe where I started to dance hip hop and G funk music.
Mm,
So it totally makes sense for me to end up dancing hip hop and waving, right?
right, right.
um, and then I think for the hip hop, of course, I always loved the groove and the rock and the bounce of hip hop. But for me, it was really like the flow, what like made me fall in love with the hip hop dance.
Hmm.
And as soon as I saw someone doing waves, I was like, wait, this is this is the same feeling I was searching in hip hop, but more to the essence, right? It's
Hmm.
like, okay, that's interesting. And I just sat down the other day and tried to figure out who was the first person that I saw doing a wave. And I think Momo, you know him. I think it was Pop the Ace from our area. I think this was the first person that I saw doing waves in person. Um, I think he kind of stopped dancing, but he was a good friend of us in the early days.
Right.
Um, so I was seeing people doing waves, also Suhail doing waves at that time, and I can remember that I just went on YouTube and typed in okay how to waving tutorial, this kind of stuff, right? And somehow the first person that I found was Wavomatic.
Oh.
So I found the YouTube channel and I was like, yo, wow, this is what I want to do, and there's so much information in these videos. So I started practicing, right?
Mhm.
Um, and after that, I it was for a few years it was just me and this movement practicing in my room for myself with no purpose. Just yo, this feels good. I want to keep doing this. I want to research and invest in that style of movement because it made me feel so good, right?
Mhm.
Mm, and then throughout the way I met people like Volt, Kittridge later on. I think around that time when I met Volt, which is like 4 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ish.
Hmm.
Um, let's say during COVID, right? During COVID, there was no so many people to train with. All studios were shut down and stuff. Um, so I was investing in online classes a lot. So I was doing a bunch of online classes with Enox, for example, with Slim
Hmm.
as well,
Hmm.
to just name a few. And oh, I remember another breaking point in my waving journey. It was so Bishop. You talked to Bishop recently, right? He's doing an intensive once a year in Berlin, and I went there in I guess 2018. And it's like 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, so pretty intense.
Nice.
And I went there super confident because I saw the other people, and all of them were like circus people, and me already knowing a little bit about the side of waving, I was super confident, like, yo, okay, let's do this, right?
Right.
And he recognized and was like, yo, bro, I saw you practice some waves. Forget about this. Like, you need to relearn this kind of movement, right? And it was funny because I clicked with his style of teaching a lot, and he made me understand more what this dance is about, and how to find this feeling that I love even better within myself, right?
Hmm, I see.
So this is the main points for my waving journey, and of course, like Kittridge changed a lot. The relationship that we have, the memories that we share, and the training sessions is like this is super influential, and I really appreciate.
Wow. Okay. I definitely want to get into the Kittredge, just what that means to everyone. But continuing to Pez, again, the same question of when was the moment, or what were the multiple moments where you felt I'm going to push waving, I'm going to focus?
Um, I think it was 1 year before COVID. So I think it's 2018-ish. Here in Berlin, there is another dancer. His name is Mao, and he since long time ago, like 10 years, that he is doing pure waving. He's coming also from popping, but he normally trains waving. And I met him, and we start like training together. I was mixing a little bit of popping, some waves, da da da. But he really inspired me. He How he understands waving, how he understands his body, and the time that he takes to stretch the moves and the beats. So yeah, I think he was the first person live or to exchange,
Mhm.
because I saw other people, some teachers, they were doing just waving or videos, of course, but um, I think those moments where you really exchange with someone and you can like ease and bolt, like when you have each other and then you can train and then you can continue diving deep, there is where you can say, okay, here.
Yeah.
And it was really nice because we used to train with more people, and somehow other styles is just the way I understood the other styles. It was more like highlights or tricks or tada, or just in 1 minute to give the maximum you can. And with waving, the highlight can be just like a look, or it can be just like a stop and then a
Uh,
breath.
mhm.
So there I really felt in love, because it's like, okay, I don't need to I don't need to puke all the skills that I have just in 1 minute. I
Yes.
can take my time. I can feel it. I can focus just on my wrist, and I can do amazing things just in my wrist. I can.
Yes.
This is the thing that I really love from waiting.
Nice.
And yeah, I think it was that.
What was the name of your teacher? What was his name? The way that he was waving?
In Spain,
Yes.
Kanga,
How do you how do you
Kanga, Kanga Valls. John Carlos Valls, but his artistic name is Kanga.
oh,
Kinga.
and does he post videos? Are there videos of this person?
Yeah, I can share his Instagram. Yeah, yeah.
Nice, nice. Okay. And transitioning to, oh yes, Volt.
Real quick, I think the guy that she was talking about though was Mao, and they're like they
Yes.
train together, right, Paz? So because I think Jay understood it in a way that Mao taught you when you started, but you
I
guys train
know. Yes,
together,
I
right?
say his
Yeah.
name. Yeah, yeah. The guy that I was training with here in Berlin is Mao.
Mao. Okay.
I can send you also his
Okay.
Instagram. Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you both. Thank you. And then transitioning to Liquid, when was the moment again that you were like, I want to focus on waves?
I think it was since the beginning, when the first time I learned the wave from the You Got Served movie. There were two things. The first thing is like it was very kind of easy for me to do the wave and to do waving in general, because I feel like I have predisposition for this.
Mm.
And also in terms of dance, I really like the illusion, the magic, make things look unreal. So basically, mainly waving and animation. So that's why since the beginning, I start waving and I never did something else. Waving, animation, liquid. So everything that look unreal, I really enjoy it. And as I said before, I also tried popping, but yeah, it was not for me. My body was like, nope, not this, not this time. So yeah, I keep with waving and yeah, I really enjoy it and try to develop, especially at the beginning, the technique how to make it look more clean, more liquid, more
Yeah.
all thing. So yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I find it's interesting. I feel now currently in the like current times, people how do I say? Now there's more avenues than just popping. You don't just have to be a popper now. Now we have waving community. Now we're having the animation community. Like I feel all these styles are kind of that came from popping are now growing into their own communities and people are finding out they can there's more options. So it's cool to see. What generation is everyone here from a different generation or is everyone kind of the same generation of dance? Like for example, I'm not sure. So would you say everyone here is the same like Alex generation or are some people like older like Jay Smooth generation or are some people here like the current generation? Where would you place yourselves when it comes to the generations?
I think all of us are right about the same age. I think East is the youngest of us, but we are like I'm 32, for example.
Mhm.
I'm here the older. I'm 34.
Okay.
Um, I think this is also depends the country, I would say. Because for example, I was checking and I was talking with my well, like the first teacher I had, I was talking with Kanga. And and for example, in Spain, there were no one doing animation or popping, yes, but not animation and not waving before him. So I, I don't know if I am the second then because I was a student of him or like the third one, but of course in Europe we are is not second generation or even third. I think we are the fourth or the fifth.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
So I think it depends the country and the history, these three families.
Let's see. Okay. Got it.
I mean, look at you. You were posting videos from 2008, right? So I would assume just from the waving perspective, you're like ahead of us. You're like way earlier.
Um, yeah. After, like, there is also a lot of people before me in France. So yeah, again, it's as Pes said, it's depending on the country, the place, and yeah, I don't even know where I have to put myself because it was not very clear because most of the people who were doing waving were also doing all other stuff like popping or so it's a little bit hard.
I see. Okay. Is
For
there
me,
yes,
sorry.
yes.
For me, it's hard to answer because it's not only about the age or when you started the dance style. It's also a little bit about influence, right?
Mm,
So I don't really know know, because like I learned from Bishop, I learned from Enox, I learned from JJ, so I would consider myself as the generation after them. But if we have influence and we're building communities, so I just assume we have a certain percentage of influence on them. Then it is, at least for me in waving, it's the last like 3 years.
3 years. Okay. Got it. Got it. Is is there a would you say there is a founder for Kindred Waves? Or is there no founder? It's more everyone. How was it decided who is part of Kindred Waves? What's the application for people that want to sign up? How do you decide that? The who get becomes part?
So we were all in that Airbnb, and most of us stayed for like 2 weeks. But then we have two members, the two guys who couldn't, or who are not here today, which are Jaquan and Dodo. So it was super fun because Jaquan was like, "Yeah, I'm probably only going to stay for the first week. He's always super busy, always traveling somewhere." So he only stayed with us for like 7 days. And then Denise came to us and she was like, "Yo, I met this guy at Waves Within. He's Italian and he doesn't know where to stay. He just super crazy. He went random and he didn't speak English at the time. So this guy was just with the Google translator. Like Dodo's doing amazing today. His English is soaring. It's crazy. Super funny dude also. And back then, we were like, yo, who the hell goes to Los Angeles, doesn't know where to stay? That's a gamble. That's crazy. We were all sitting in the car. It's like, can we even trust a person like that, you know? And then Dodo stood in front of us, like the nicest dude you could ever meet. We always joke that he's the golden retriever of the group because he's so sympathetic, you know, so nice. So yeah, he stayed with us for the second part of the week, right? And then afterwards, we were all like, we went back, we were like, oh my God, this was special. This felt amazing for all of us. So is this something serious? Is are we gonna call this a crew? Oh my God. And then yeah, we I think we kind of all went like, yeah, it was an amazing experience. And luckily Jaquan was super mature about it. So we talked about a lot of things that are super important for us to be part of the crew. What is the agenda of what Kittridge Waves wants to accomplish? What do we want to represent? So Jaquan in our crew is like the wise guy that we ask if things are a little stuck sometimes. And yeah, he gave us that information. We had a actually quite serious talk about, okay, how are we going to approach this? And the consensus was that all of us want to go as hard as possible in the waving game. And we're talking not only battle scene, but also, of course, establishing culture everywhere we go. And yeah, I think that was like the kind of the story, how we all came together.
I see. Okay. And what was before Kidrid was a name that was given to you, how did you guys connect with Waves Within? What was your relationship to Waves Within?
For me, it was the same situation as for Volt. Like J Smooth were here in Germany teaching the workshop and telling us about the events.
Mm.
And as I said before that, I just met Momo like a year before or 1.5 years before. But aside of him, that I didn't knew anyone doing only waving, right? So when he said, "Okay, there's a festival coming up with all wavers from all over the world meeting," I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna be there 100%."
Okay. And how I guess how did everyone get what was your experience of Waves Within or how did you hear about Waves Within? So we can go to Pez.
Um, about Waves Within in 2020, I think it was when they started doing it, the online battle,
Mm.
or 2021. It was 20, right? I
I
don't
think it
remember,
was
but
during
like
the pandemic.
2020, 21. Yes, in pandemic. So I was watching all the videos and it was really nice. Then I think I met Volt first in the Red Bull Dance Your Style here in Berlin, and then with East we met also here in Berlin because I think he was for a weekend taking classes from Bishop in that moment, and we did like a session, and yeah, I think it was in that moment that we were talking about, hey, ways we think is going to happen in LA. I also traveled to Dusseldorf for the workshop of Jay Smooth when he was there.
Okay.
So yeah, we kept the contact with Jay also for that, and yeah, and then I was contacting East. A, I want to go to LA. Do you want to share an apartment with me? And he was like, yeah, let's ask. I have some few people also that maybe they would come. And at the end, we had Kittridge, Kittridge team there.
Nice. Okay, got it. And Liquid as well. What was your, how did you hear about Waves Within? And also, is anyone here part of another crew as well? Do you represent multiple crews, or is Kindred what everyone represents? I guess that's another question, but everyone, no one is part of another crew, or
Me, I'm part of Bot's Kingdom in
ah,
animation. Yeah.
got it,
So yeah.
got it. So then back to my original question, Liquid, how did you hear about Waves Within?
Um, I don't remember exactly, but I think like since I started in 2011, there were not a lot of events waving in terms of waving. So every time there were an event in waving, I try to be there. So I try to be at all the waving events, and we're talking about maybe one event per year, maybe less because it was yeah not a lot. And after yeah, COVID came, and there were like Gismos and doing some online battles, and so I start to follow that. And yeah, then Wave Within was announced, I was like, oh, this is in LA, one of the biggest waving events, the biggest, the one of the first, not the first, but one of the first only waving event. So I was like, I have to be there just to because I like waving. I do waving. I want to meet other people who like waving like me. So I have to be there. So that's how I.
Nice, nice. Okay. So now you guys, everyone has met. You're in LA for Waves Within. Oh yes, yes, Eads.
I kind of want to add a piece in the puzzle of what made Europe understand that waving is an own dance style that now nobody talked about in your interviews at least. And I don't know if we talked about this. I'm talking to the Kittridge now, but I'm sure you guys remember. So there was this guy having a YouTube channel also from LA. His name was Otis. You remember him?
Yes, Otis Funkmeyer. Yes, he would have.
Yeah. And there was an interview with Otis. JJ was in that. Enox was there, and I think Function was there as well. And they were just talking about how waving evolved from popping, or about the history of waving. I was trying to find it before that interview, so I could send it to you, but I think it's not online anymore. But in that interview, they made a pretty clear point that waving can be an own dance style if you want, if we want, if we keep building it, if we keep creating it, or keep researching it is maybe the better word.
Huh.
So this was a huge part for me and a few people that I talked to, because it was somebody saying your waving is an own thing on video. Like this is, I think there should be ways to find this video and clip it somehow, because I think for the waving scene in Europe, it's a nice piece of history as well.
So you're saying this video with JJ and Otis and Function, that they're talking of how waving can be its own style. Is that what was being said?
Yeah, I mean it was a whole interview, so 1 hour and a half or something like this. But what I took away from it was, the movement that I love is now considered as being an own dance style, and this changed at least my perspective on it as well, right? Because I can't remember in which order these things happened. Either went to Bishop's intensive first, or this video dropped. Maybe it was the video first, but Bishop, as he told you, he was calling his intensive wine style, so he's not using the term waving.
Right.
Um, so this was the first time someone really said like that clear for me.
Interesting. Okay. Got it. Hmm. I want to. I have many thoughts. One thought I have is this is kind of going off track, but what does waving mean? If someone was to say, "What is waving?" How would you respond to that? I think of because when I ask about animation, that's a big topic as well. Like, what is animation? But if someone was to ask you, "What is waving?" What would you say? Who would like to take the I'll just pick a Pez. I saw you kind of raise your hand a little bit, so what would you say? What is waving?
Waving. uh,
Waving.
for sure, for sure, I have to say that waving comes from popping.
Okay. Mm, mhm,
Okay, say that you're creating illusions of waves through your body.
okay. Creating waves. Illusion through your body. Okay.
I would say that coming from the
I
popping
think
culture. Say.
mm, I think I really love to stay with one of the definitions that I heard the first time we went to Waves Within, where Hugo was interviewed. And he put it in the context of the electro-funk music at the end of the 70s, start of the 80s, because there was like this discussion that waves as a cultural thing were there before, because there have been tribal communities somewhere dancing around the fire, maybe, feeling the spirituality of everything, and therefore kind of doing these wavy movements. There's also lots of cultures which have a similar texture or approach, but the electrofunk music for us is what made the style. And I think something that we are all something where I think all the Kittridge members are on the same page, correct me guys if I'm wrong, is that we are creating the illusion of a wave traveling from A to B inside and outside of the body, with undulations as a main technique.
I have a comment, but I want to wait until anyone wants to share
Mhm.
about waving, their definition. If not, then no. Okay. All right. When did that word undulations start showing up? Because I don't remember hearing that word being used with waving.
So for me, it's super interesting. Do you know Ving?
Who?
Ving Co
It,
ILE. That
it,
he
it's from where's he from?
I think he's from America. He's also super deep in liquid. That's why I was like, he also went to Waves Within, and sometimes he shares some experience. He also went to the Waves Within. I think both of them also,
Hmm.
in life, in person, and he uploaded a video like last week actually, where he was like, okay, so where are the differences between liquid and waving? And to him, it's about the definition of what the topics are. And I don't want to I don't want to cite him 100% because right now it's not as clear in my mind. But to me, it was really interesting when he said undulation. There is this in Germany you call it Wogen, right? And it just describes the kind of tides, building themselves up. And if I like, to me personally, I felt like, oh yeah, that's definitely something that has a part in waving. And when I'm trying to talk to my students about what waving is, I try to be very clear on the historical context. But then again, there are so many techniques used to create the illusion behind the wave that I'm just trying to be like, there is an option to also use a certain technique to create the effect that you might want,
Mm.
right? Um, yeah, trying to be like really respectful to the culture at all points, especially its origins, right? But then also trying to leave enough space to grow within the boundaries of waving, right? Me personally, I'm also always super open to take from other sources. For me, I work a lot on, for example, combining the energy of Crump with waving. This is like one of the things where I'm like super inspired by Ushkan and John Gifted. This is a heavy approach for me, but I of course, whenever we talk in straight waving, I'm focusing on the things that I just mentioned.
I see. Okay, got it. Now, going back to when everyone was in LA for Waves Within, can if any of the members would like to share, what was that experience like coming to, was this your first time battling as a crew at Waves Within? Was that the first time everyone you were battling as a crew?
I think the first Ways Within, so 2024, 23, we were in a crew in that moment. We were sharing the apartment.
Yes.
So we were seven people sharing the love of waving and with the excitement and supporting each other through the whole experience because we stayed between 2 weeks to 3 weeks together. So it was really nice, but the feeling it wasn't as a crew.
Okay.
The next year, so last year was 2024. Yes, it was the first literally um, event as a crew together.
Right. And it was
Just sharing.
and if can you remind me again who were all the it was 3v3, right? 3 versus 3 for weight and it was
Yeah,
Keith,
last year.
Pez and Vault and Liquid
Mm-hmm.
you weren't in the 3v3 last year.
Yes, I was with Dodo and Alex.
Oh, so you were okay. Got it. So you were part of what is that is that another waving crew or
No, no, it was just
got
for this.
just because you needed more people. Got it. Okay. So 3v3. Okay. What was the experience like when you for those that event last year? What was the experience battling and you guys made it to top to the finals, correct? As the Waves as Kittridge. Yeah. So tell me up into the moment, what was the experience like?
I think for me it was the first time that I realized, oh wow, these guys can read my way of movement so good, and I understand their way of movement on such a high level that this just makes sense, up from creating with you guys is so easy and so efficient and so organic. And this is not just for Volt and Path, this is for the whole crew. Um, but it just feels so natural and so giving. So this was the first time I really experienced that. Also in somehow in a like a battle is some sort of tense situation. right? So experiencing this inside of a band was super nice. It's like, yo, these guys really got my back, and whatever I do, they're gonna pick it up and understand what I planned in my head, right?
Nice. Nice. How about for anyone else? What was the experience like battling together? We'll go with Volt. We'll go with Volt.
Yeah. Uh, it felt, sometimes when me personally, I battled a lot. So I have a lot of experience with, just being competitive. This was always a huge focus for me when I was doing pop-in, when I was doing animation already. Always, I was like a super competitive kid, right? But then for me, there's always this sense of doubt. Is what I'm doing, is it really working? Is it nice? But when I was standing with these two guys, when I was standing there, I was like, there's no doubt. It just works.
Nice.
I don't have to. I feel, and this feel, I really don't mean this in a stuck up or how would you say, in an arrogant kind of way, but it feels so complete to me. It just makes sense whenever there is, maybe I put a round that has a heavy focus on one thing. I know these two are strategists, so they're like, okay, let me fill another thing, so we don't even have to talk about that. Also, when we did the pre-selection, and I remember we got ants from
Yeah,
edit.
that was a crazy.
Like that one. So when we did this, we were like, okay, we're just gonna do some counts. So we had, like, I think, how many eights did we have? Was it two or four? Either one. Yeah, two, right? And we just went with it. And the effects in the music, of course, everybody in the dance scene knows these effects, but then at the same time, you want to go with what everybody planned, right? And I just remember us watching the video afterwards, being like, it felt amazing, but then looking at how it looks like when it already felt so natural with the two of them and how it just flowed, was like, oh, that feels so empowering. And this is me personally, just a little bit off topic, is something that also made me go for waving as a culture, because I feel like the community in waving is so supportive.
Hmm.
There's just like so much love going around. People are appreciating each other. They are open for exploration, for uh just living your own type of way in waving. And it just felt so wholesome with these dope people in the room, so many dope artists from all over the world, just empowering each other with what they're doing. And I feel like that energy felt so amazing to experience, which is why, yeah, which is, I mean, it's a lot of financial investment for us to go to America. This is why we went twice in a row, because we wanted to experience that feeling of 23 again. And then, being with the crew in 24 felt, yeah, amazing. Dope.
Nice. And Pez, what was your experience during the battles?
For me, I shared the same feeling like my two other brothers. It was magical. I think that how we understand each other, how different we are, but how we can read the others, um, giving the space, but also hosting and also adding. And I think it was magical. It was really organic. It felt organic. And I have to say that since we say, okay, we are Kittridge, also is involved in Dusseldorf, then they created Tied Together Collective, and they are doing sessions, they are doing a podcast, they are creating workshops. I was doing in Berlin Diving Deep collective, so I was also bringing people to teach workshops. And we did once Tied Together Diving Deep edition. So they came to Berlin and we were training a lot together. So we started like, eh, I understand your way. I understand the other. Okay, let's try to do some freestyle together at the same time. How does it feel? How where it can go, just as a fun playground. So it felt really nice. We started that meeting every 2 months, more or less. I was going to tie together, or they were coming here just for a weekend. And I remember that one weekend before to go to LA, we met also our three together here in Berlin to say, okay, this is a 3 versus 3. Let's start. Let's see what can we have. And it was like, okay, guys, we don't need to train this. We have it. We understand each other. We have this mutual feeling and this anger, but with the passion and yeah,
Nice.
it was a playground. So it was funny at the same time to share it with them.
Nice.
And I have to say, like the last thing with them, I feel because sometimes I have also like, we'll say like I have self-doubt. I don't know if this is too much or this is enough or this is, and they are like my angels saying, no, you're amazing. Let's go. You're powerful. So I think all of us, we are, and I can say that about the whole Kittridge. Like we really support each other. We hype each other and we host each other every time that we have a problem or we are sad or we are with self-doubt or with it's like no, you're not alone, we are here, let's continue, let's push. So in any moment I had troubles or I had doubts.
Mhm. Wow, that's beautiful. It strengthens it, like your relationship with each other, supporting each other. Of course, it makes sense that your dance will also level up as well. How comfortable everyone is. Yes. Paul, did you want to share
And
something?
I can say, sorry, I can say that this is from the whole crew. Since then, we are trying to meet all seven together. The last time was in Italy, and we were the whole week in Italy together. We created even a training session for us. We were giving us feedback. Then we started training the things that we wanted to clean or with the feedbacks from the others. Um, we try all the time to yeah, to push each other. We share some videos, we share some knowledge, we share some if I have a doubt or if I am creating something, I don't know, here in Berlin, or if I always share with them, or some of them they share also their things. We give opinions, we continue growing. So it's really like a family and a really community, the sense of it's not about the level, it's not about the level we are gonna reach it and we are reaching it. So it's like it's
Nice,
just love and pushing each other.
nice, nice. And Vault, did you want to?
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to share when we did Waves Within last year for the first time. So to me, I doubted so much for such a long time because we were doing the Waves Within thing and then we did an organizer demo. Um, because we wanted to show like, okay, so we are the three that are hosting this event in Europe. So of course we have to also like show from a standpoint that we know how to wave, right? I mean, we couldn't be just some people who are, oh, we just looked at waving once and then we're just gonna do an event like this. We wanted to kind of also prove ourselves. I feel like, and I remember like looking at Paz and Ethan being so nervous before this demo because I felt like, yo, I have heavy foundation in animation, popping, and everything. And now since 23, I dove super hard into waving. That's almost the only thing I did. Completely like 23 after LA, I was like, nah, whatever. I didn't train, like I didn't dance a popping around in like 5 months after 23. Just it was only waving. And I remember being with the two of them, being like, yo, these two are here because they're dope wavers. I'm here because I'm solid at waving and I got animation and popping technique, just talking myself down also.
Right, right.
Um, and I remember talking to the two of them like, yo, guys, can you go first? Like, I'm not ready. I don't feel secure. And they just looked at me and they just went like, yeah, we got you, bro. Don't worry. It's like, whatever. We're gonna go first. So, yeah, I also just really want to stress that every time some of us have doubts or anything, the rest of the crew is always there to pick each other up. And yeah, just was super fun. Just I just wanted to share that even though we did this huge event last year already, there was like still some struggles you know, emotionally, mentally, and yeah, it was also beautiful to see how the scene in general kind of gets inspired from our mindset, because we of course tell our communities like, yo, if someone's in a cipher and they do something dope, like you have to scream. Like all of us are like screamers in
Yeah.
in the cipher because we want to hype each other up. So yeah, just wanted to share that.
Nice. No, that is really that's really cool to hear this because we don't get the chance to hear what's going on internally with dancers unless you share. So thank you for sharing that. I just had this memory. I realized I remember 2023 that Liquid and Ease, I remember both of you there. And Ease, I remember you battled Boogie Frantic. I remember that was a big moment. That was a very highlight of the moment. I remember the excitement you had when the decision was given to you. Can you share a little bit about what that experience was like, going being in LA and competing in that whole waving? Yeah.
As I said before, it was a lot of years just me in my living room practicing that style of waving, right? So
Mhm.
it was really the first time that I was seeing other people doing it, but also in a way testing the skills, right?
Mhm.
And I remember Volt calling me before the event, right? And he was like, "Yo, bro, I know you wanna win and stuff, but maybe you start with just like passing pre-selection first." I was like, "Yeah, bro, thank you."
He said, "Don't get too
but
excited. Don't get too excited."
but then he was like, "Yeah, I don't want to talk you down, but what do you do if you bet like frantic first round, right?" And I was like, "Fuck, he's right, bro. What am I do if frantic steps in or someone like this, you know?" But from this point on, I already had this battle in mind because it could happen, and Volt was totally right.
Mm,
So when they announced frantic, I was like, okay, let's go. I'm ready because I already had the situation in my mind,
nice.
and but I remember I respect frantic as much as he did for the scene, as much as he inspired me in waving, as much as he inspired Lickett in waving. Like
Mm,
it was a crazy moment for me, not just winning that round, but also just experiencing his dance and so close in front of me, and because I saw him in videos a million times before, right? And he's for me one of the heavyweights in waving, right? And it was a special moment, and this conversation with Volt helped me a lot before, but there was also a conversation that I had with Bishop on that day. Um, he was talking to me right before, because I think there was a break before that round, and I met him outside, and he was like, "Yo, I see you're feeling good today, right?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm kind of trying." And he was like, "Yo, if I may, like give you like a tip for today, you need to stay in your energy, and you need to bring your energy to the stage,
mm,
because this is what separates you from other people. So take a moment for yourself, breathe, and feel inside of yourself to really bring that energy." So these two moments really
wow.
helped me to stand the situation.
Wow. Nice. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for that. Um,
And like the footage afterwards, even the videos, you can see how I'm like, what just happened.
Yeah, it was
It
a
was super
moment.
dope,
Yeah,
and how the room reacts, and I remember Denise jumping on me and this kind of stuff. It was so nice. Yeah, and thank you for supporting me, guys, and for making the way to make things like this possible.
nice. That's beautiful. Also, Liquid was there as well, and Liquid, you won. I believe you won the competition in 2023.
Yes.
What was your experience as well during the battles, the beginning? What was your internal experience?
Um, I think I was very, very stressed
Mhm.
before the event. Yeah, because I don't really like battle. I don't really like, in general, dancing in front of everybody, especially at that time.
Mhm.
A little bit like dancing alone in my bedroom, like.
Right.
So it's very difficult for me to dance in front of people, and so yeah, I was very stressed, and also with some people who tell you before the battle, oh, you will win the battle, right? Because you are the favorite or stuff like this. So it adds some pressure. But I just tried during the round to be present in the moment, to breathe, to connect to the music, and yeah, try to do this at every round. I didn't did super move or stuff like this. I just go with the flow, and yeah, it went. This day it went pretty well, so it was nice.
I just love you said you went with the flow. That's perfect. You went with the flow. That's all you need to do in a waving event. Go with the flow. But okay, that's really cool. Okay. Got it. Got it. So so my question now is more about Kindred itself of the crew. What is in store for the future? What is Kindred have for the future? Are there any things coming up or yeah, what do you think the future has for Kindred?
Growing, growing. That's all we want. I think I think the one thing that all of us ever talk about is, hey yo guys, how are y'all doing? Yeah, I'm training. Yeah, yeah, me too. What are you working on? Yeah, I'm working on this. Okay, I need to also like work on that. So there's this dynamic, super fun. Jaquan was doing holidays, right? And he was like, "Yo, guys, I've been traveling for like 2 months, just just doing events and everything. I just need to chill for like 2 weeks." And I asked him in the middle of the holiday, I was, hey bro, how are you doing? He was like, "Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm trying to chill, you know." And I'm like, "Oh, that's great. Yeah, I've been training all day yesterday. Just wishing you a good time, bro." So, so we just hype each other up with, you know, with never taking a break, with training and trying to, pushing the art form our level in this thing. We want to uh keep on growing as a presence in the waving world, in the community. We want to build things, and we do recognize that in the scene that you know builds on respect, right? Respect needs to be earned through several ways, through being a participant, through being there when other people are doing their events, right? For example, when Kelly and Alex did the High Kinetic Waving Festival, we were like, yeah, we kind of have a responsibility to push our friends' events as well, to just be everywhere and just not only grow by ourselves, but grow with the community, right? Trying to be, while growing and trying to be, well, leaders in the community,
Mhm.
that we also want to still be approachable. We still want to be, um, you know, sources of knowledge. We want to be sources of reflection. And I think we all recognize that we need to do a lot of work for that, because with the responsibility, right, we want to do things the right way and we want to honor this culture at the same time. So I think just growing waving as a style in Europe, I believe is the goal.
Do you feel Europe is supporting waving? That people are really interested, it's accepted, it's
Can I add on to that first, before we get to your question? I think staying a student in this dance style forever is a goal for all of us, right? We want to still learn, grow, communicate with all the people that have done the style before us, doing the research, having conversations about the style, the culture, everything that, because there's so much knowledge, right? I don't think we recreate anything or stuff like this. Like everything has been done before in a way from somebody, and let's find out who it was, which year, and if we can talk to the person, if we can get it in, like the person into the community to teach, to share, or on a podcast, or yeah, just using like our connections inside of the waving world to make the information accessible for our communities is a huge goal, and also being a bridge in between the people who've done the style before us and the people who do the style maybe because of us or because we created a space for it. It's also a huge goal, and this is also for all the crew. I know that we always talk about tie together and diving deep, but this is because we put a name on what we do. But I know Liquid is teaching in Paris as well. I know Dodo is creating a format in Rome, which is called Into the Wave, where he's basically doing the same, right? Sessions, workshops, all this kind of stuff. um he, Jackie is teaching a lot of intensives right now all over the world. So I think pushing the game but also bridging in between the generations is what we kind of made to our goal for the next year, beside our like personal goals within the side of waving.
got it. Okay. And oh yes,
I
well,
just want to, sorry, sorry, real quick. I just want to say to answer your question, but also building up on what he said, is that we have a lot of collectives actually in Europe popping up now. Well, we have Waveman, for example, from Mateus Dragan. His name is Tweetson, if you heard of him before. He was also in LA last year.
hmm,
Um, and then we have Sense the Wave, for example. It's from a friend of ours. His name is Mooney. Then of course, High Chematic, right, which is Callie and Alex.
I
And
think your
then we
audio.
have
Can you hear
Broken
me?
View.
Oh, there you go. Oh, there. Look, I think it
Yeah,
cut off. So
yeah.
you said since the wave, since the wave.
Sense the Wave by our friend Mooney, right? He's doing a battle once a year where he's also trying to bring everybody together. So shout out to him. Then we have, of course, Callie and Alex with High Chematic. Who like these guys did the amazing waving festival like 1 month ago in Thessaloniki. It was, so to everybody watching, if this happens again, you need to be there for sure. And then we also got Broken View, right? Yeah,
Wow.
like this is Jackie Lopatin, this is AJB, this is several people, right?
Mhm.
Roman, yeah. Or what? Who is?
I think Colombo is also in that team.
Ah, yes, of course, Colombo.
Wow. Okay. So would you say waving seems to be growing in Europe, and it seems to be people are interested. It's growing. It's growing. Nice.
I remember one
Yes.
of the first times doing the tie together session. So we have this format, tie together, which is 1 hour workshop. It's not about us teaching, but it's about if new people come in, here's a small set of informations for you to try to play with, and then we have 3 hours of sessions. So usually, also a member of tie together, Vanki Lau, is playing live music. I think he's one of the best DJs for the waving scene, for sure. um and I think it was the maybe the third session, and all of a sudden we had like 60 people in the workshop, and I was like, yo, what the hell is going on? I can remember myself teaching 2, 3, 4, 5 people in waving every week for years. Like nobody gave a shit about waving, and all of a sudden we created this brand, or this worldwide movement. We joined this worldwide movement, right? And there was so much interest for it, and we were like, oh wow, okay, people actually care for waving. There's a momentum going on all over the world, but especially in Europe, I feel like. So let's try to push it as far as we can. Let's really try to yeah, go as far as we can with it.
Nice. Nice.
And even outside of the waving culture, for example, I won the Red Bull Dance Your Style, Germany, and I made a point to win it as a waver. So when I went to Mumbai to the finals, there was also people, for example, Son Lam, right, who's
Yeah.
like an amazing popper dancer in general. He's so dope. Uh, and he knows how to wave, right? But he was there, for example, representing popping, more of popping animation, this direction. But for me, I was like, no, if someone's gonna ask me, I'm a waver, because I want people all over the world to
Mm.
see this dance style and what it has to offer. So I think it's also a point for us to not only build from inside the community, but also use aspects of social media to bring it to people who might not know what the style is culturally, but to, share the aesthetic of what waving has to give. And I think all of us are doing that whenever there's an opportunity.
Nice. Nice. Uh, and I just have a few questions as well, just to let you know, time-wise as well. So I do have a few I'd like to ask. Um, what is there any, since again I'm not too familiar of what is going on within the waving community, is there anything you feel, how do I say, is there any concerns in the waving community or anything that may be lacking or um I don't know. Is there anything that you feel maybe needs to be shared or would be helpful for the waving community?
um if Paz or Liquid wants to talk about this, feel free. I think like I'm talking quite a lot in the last minute, so just interrupt me if it's enough, okay? Um, but I do feel like every young generation, and a lot of people are very young in the waving scene. So we have a lot of like 18, 20, 16 years old entering the style, and I think what we need to offer is the historical context of the dance style, as I said, bridge within the generations and all this kind of stuff. But as usual, you're gonna start a dance style because you like the movement. You like how the community feels or how it looks. So bringing you from the state of, oh, this is kind of nice, to, yo, I would consider myself as a waiver. So I know about the style, I know about the history, I know about the fundamentals. Is um is what we're trying to do now with like the young generation. um and yeah, also another thing that we see happening in waving is, usually we had a lot of poppers joining waving because it was a part of popping, and you're gonna know how to wave when you were popper. But now we have a lot of people coming from hip hop as well. For example, a lot of my students are hip hop dancers. They see me wave and be like, oh, I kind of want to learn that. So um use what you have from other dance styles within the style of waving, but also there's so much knowledge and so much dope stuff that you can take from popping beside the culture, but just in movement. We're talking textures, we're talking techniques, that you want to learn. But the waving scene in Germany or in Europe is so young that if you joined like 2 months ago, you know, and you're still trying to figure out how to do like a solid arm wave, I will not ask you to do a dime stop, a pop, a vibration at the same time, because things take time, and the scene needs to grow. Um, and I think all of us take care that it will have the best possible context for all of them to grow in. And I think if something is lagging right now, it's the aspect of time.
Time. Hmm. Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, we talked a lot about between all of us, how can we make waving more accessible, right? And I feel like there's always like two options on how to teach dance to people, right? There's the commercial aspect of okay, see, this is the dance style, here's the technique, try to do whatever with it. Then there's the trying to be close to your student, actually guiding them, being a mentor in many aspects, right? And um we felt like if we want to be closer to the scene and if we want to build a scene, we need to be effective with the commercial aspect of it as well, not trying to because ignoring all these possibilities of reaching people and filling the community is detrimental, I feel like. So we were like, okay, at the end of the first lesson that we teach, we want to first of all create a feeling of success that motivates people to stay within the style of waving. So he said something super dope. He said at the end of the session, I want the person that tries out waving to move through the room, right? So whenever we teach a workshop, just out of pure responsibility, we teach the basic wave first. So we go, look, guys, this is the technique. This is how you create the illusion. This is how you have to learn it responsibly in a cultural aspect. Then again, we are also working a lot with the illusion of what we call sinking, where it's all about creating the illusion of being underwater with also a slow motion effect, that um, some people kind of interpret it as a contemporary approach, but to us, it's a way of enabling people to get in touch with the illusion without having to stress about proper technique as the first thing that you get in contact with. Don't get me wrong, like we're all like, yo, go back, practice that basic wave, practice that tidal wave. You need to do it. There's no way for you to skip this process. But just to motivate people to kind of reach out for a hand, this is something that we love to work with. And we try to be really motivating with the way we teach, because we recognize that if a scene wants to survive, there need to be people who are interested in the culture in the first place. So we try to kind of hit the sweet spot in between.
Nice, nice. And also, I like how you said about the commercial avenue. Will I see Kittridge waves on France Got Town or Germany Got Town as a waving crew? That would be fascinating. That would really show the world then, right? But continuing what the question was, Pez or Liquid, of are there any concerns or anything you feel should be brought up within the waving community? Anything that should be expressed?
For me, I totally agree that it's time. It's just time with our students or the people need because of it was just like 2 years ago when we started teaching, and there were not so many teachers doing pure waving. So um, I can say yes, there are lack of technique, or there are lack of, for example, footwork, balance that maybe comes from the popping. And because some of the students, they are not coming from popping, they are coming directly to waving or coming from other styles. How you step, how you sit, how you manage the weight right now is not as controlled, but it's not because we are not teaching it, because we are teaching it. The only thing is like you need time to understand all the techniques inside the popping, all the techniques inside the waving. Um, so yeah, if I have to point something right now, I would say like more the footwork or the isolation, how you sit and how you manage your weight. But it's not because of Europe, or it's not because of us or the other teachers. It's just time. And now that there is a lot of all the social media, every time that there is one person feeling good in one class, and suddenly they go home, they train, they pause themselves like, I am learning waving. And if you take just that image and you think, oh, this is Europe waving style,
Oh, I see.
it's not correct to sentence that.
I see.
We are just showing our growth, and we are showing um, our path.
Yeah.
But I think it's good. I think it's really good, and I'm really happy, and I am proud of every single collective, every single uh, corner in all Europe, because I always say as a joke, but it's not a joke. We are like the unicorns in these urban styles.
Nice.
Literally, honestly, all Europe, we are so connected, so pushing each other. Like right now, I think there is no name for the community in Austria, but there is a community in Austria, and they are growing, and they are pushing each other, and they are going to Greece, and they are going to Germany, and we are going to Greece, and we are going to Italy, and then we go to France, and it's so beautiful because at the end we are seeing each other 4 to 5 times a year somewhere,
Yeah.
and we see the growth, and we share, and I feel like it's a whole community together. So we just need time, but the love, the respect, and the knowledge, we are working on that, and it's never ending. That's the beauty also of dancing. So
Nice, nice. And Liquid, if there's any concern or anything you feel should be shared or mentioned about the waving community.
Um, yeah, for me, I would say like as the waving community grow and grow a lot in the world, I feel there will be like some issue, some problems that will occur. So yes, the thing for me, it will just to pay attention to this because it's normal, it's growing, and maybe there will be some tension between people or whatever, and just to try to communicate. I think obviously it's more easy to say than to do, but I think it's very important between people who are in this community. If there is an issue to communicate with each other to try to resolve it. So this is the first point. And the second point for people who are coming into the community and want to learn waving, would just say like remember your why you want to do waving. Like for example, for me it was illusion. Maybe for some people it would be emotion or how you feel or the music or whatever. But never forget why you do that, and also never forget who you are. That means like you have maybe some particularity with your body, or East was talking about dance style you were doing before. So you can use that for me in waving, or if you are you're really fast, you can use that in waving, etc. Because I feel like waving is obviously you have the basic, but it's a really freestyle. You can do a lot of things with waving, and you can really see that when you see waivers today. I mean, if we take for example, Kittridge, we are all doing waving, but we are all completely different. So I think it's important for people who coming to remember that too.
Nice, nice. Yeah. Oh, and my last question, unless there's something that you would like to share, my last question would be for everyone is what message would you like to tell the viewer that's watching this video? It could be dance related, it could not be dance related, but what would be a message you would like to share for the world, for people that will be watching? And no rush. You can think about it when you're ready. Mhm.
yes,
Uh,
um, I always say to everybody, like, allow yourself to shine. I think as a dancers, as a humans, we have so many doubts and we try to stop ourselves to investigate, to play, to show, to but I've seen that everybody has such beautiful things to say that allow yourself to shine, allow yourself to try. Uh, and there is no just one cake
Yeah,
that you have to hold a piece and that's it. We can cook cakes and everybody has a piece of it. So yeah, I would say that.
nice. Cake for everyone. I love it. Love it.
Cake for everyone.
Everyone.
For me, oh, no, no, yeah. Okay, so for me, I would love to stress the fact that there is so much beauty in the artistic approach of dance, right? For me, I love going to jams, to battles or whatever medium you want to have, and then see what people are creating with the tools, right? Because for me, um, people are always so focused on the technique of things when we learn these techniques to actually express something like a message or something that we want to share, right? I have this example that there's like people are always talking about the brush, but they are rarely, motivated to talk about the painting. What, people are like, look at my brush, it's so nice, it works in this way and it works in this way. But to me, I want to see what people are doing with it. And I want people to be super free with that and just listen to what they want to express at times, right? Of course, we want to learn the techniques and all the little things which make waving or dance, right? Because it's super important. It's a cultural thing, first of all, but we do learn artistic expression to express ourselves, and I just want people to remember that.
My mom used to say, artistry takes time and stillness of the mind. So put that phone aside one more day, sit by yourself, understand your whys. I'm gonna pickpocket this from Lickit. um, and yeah, just I think waving is a style that has foundation and historical context, but it also highly depends on your body and yourself. So learn the things that I just mentioned, but also do the inner work and do the research within yourself, because this is a part of it.
Yeah, I don't know what to say after all of this. Maybe keep enjoying, waving, keep learning, keep sharing also. I think it's very important because obviously the waving OG were not there sharing. We won't be there talking right now. So sharing is important. Be patient. Um, yeah, be with the community. And yeah, for the running gag, keep working on your arm wave. Very
Mm.
important.
Keep working on the arm wave. Nice. Nice. Love it. Well, again, I want to thank Liquid, Vault, Ease, Pez. Thank you again for sharing your time, a little bit above
Thank you.
yourselves through this hour and a half we've had together. And I'm excited for what you guys are going to continue to push for the community, for the waving community. So I'm excited.
Yes.
I think, is there another waves within in LA? Is there another one going to happen?
In
Yeah.
LA is gonna happen, but next week is gonna happen the European qualifier in Berlin.
Oh,
So we're gonna see each other again.
Nice. And then
Uh,
and the winner, what happens then? The qualifier for what?
the winner goes to LA to
Ah,
represent. Yes.
okay. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hope you
We are super
best of
excited.
luck. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, that's
Thank
exciting.
you. Thank you.
But again,
We will
thank
have here Function and Inox also. So
say that again?
we will have Function and Inox sharing with us.
Nice, nice.
A-
Oh,
And Pass is judging that too. So we try to,
the
yes.
qualifier? You said you're judging the qualifier. Pez?
With Inox and Function, yes.
Oh, okay. Got it. Oh, this is exciting. This is
Yeah.
exciting.
Oh, yes. It's gonna be
Nice,
nice.
nice,
And I'm
nice.
looking forward to see all Europe there again.
On seeing what?
I'm looking forward to see I'm looking forward to see all Europe there again.
Oh, yes, yes, because everyone coming together. Nice. Nice.
Yes.
Well, that's exciting. And best of luck for you guys, and keep going, keep pushing it. I'll be looking forward. I'll be on social media watching, and then when you guys show up in LA, I'll see you guys then. So, yes,
Yes.
yes. But anyway, hope the rest of
Looking
your day
forward.
is calm, and yeah, much love, guys.
Okay. Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much for
much.
the
Bye
opportunity
bye.
once more. Bye bye.
Take care, everyone. Take care.